A new day begins, and before the noise of the world rises, before the weight of responsibilities settles on our chest, we come quietly before you, Lord. We arrive just as we are, not strong, not certain, not complete, but honest. There are mornings when our heart wakes up tired, even after rest, and our soul whispers what our lips barely dare to say. Lord, be my help today. Help me with the thoughts I cannot silence. Help me with the fears I cannot explain. Help me with the burdens I carry alone. Your word says that your mercies are new every morning, and that truth is what keeps us standing now. So we slow down, we breathe, and we lean into you. If this prayer speaks to you, gently tap the like button and subscribe to this channel so more hearts can be reached with God's peace. And now, Lord, we pray in simplicity and faith. Be our help today, our refuge, our strength, our guide. We place this day in your hands. And if you agree with this prayer, write in the comments, I trust in God. Lord, be my help today, because I wake up knowing the sun is shining but feeling a storm inside. Light quietly fills the room, faithful and constant, doing what it has always done, while my heart wakes up already tired, already alert, already remembering. My body rises from the bed, my feet touch the ground, my routine begins, yet my soul hesitates for a moment, as if asking itself whether it has enough strength for what lies ahead. There are mornings like this, Lord, when everything looks normal on the outside, but inside there is a weight that words struggle to explain. I smile because I have learned how to smile. I move because life demands movement. But deep within, my heart remembers battles that never fully ended. Some fights did not leave visible scars, but they shaped me in ways only you truly know. Conversations that ended without closure, decisions that still echo, losses that taught me silence, fears that learned how to hide behind responsibility. And even now, as a new day opens before me, those memories rise softly, like shadows at the edge of my thoughts. They do not scream, but they linger. They do not paralyze, but they drain. And I realize once again how much I need you, not as a distant idea, not as a theological concept, but as present help, breathing hope into places where anxiety still lives. Your word reminds me that you are a very present help in trouble. Psalm 46:1 speaks this truth with a calm authority that steadies my heart. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Not a help that arrives later, not a help that must be earned, not a help that waits for me to be strong enough. You are present, here, now, in this moment where my faith is quiet and my emotions are loud, in this moment where my mind is already racing ahead while my heart is still catching up. You are not watching from afar. You are with me. And so, Lord, I choose to believe, not because everything feels peaceful, but because your word is faithful. I choose to believe that before I face the weight of this day, you have already gone ahead of me. You have stepped into every conversation I will have. You have entered every space I will walk into. You have already seen every challenge that might surprise me, every obstacle that might test me, every moment where my patience might run thin. Nothing today will catch you off guard. Nothing will overwhelm you. And because you go before me, I do not walk alone. Prepare strength where I feel weak, Lord. There are places in me that still feel fragile, still unsure, still easily shaken. There are moments when confidence fades quickly and doubt speaks loudly. I confess that sometimes I try to appear strong while quietly fearing that I am not enough. But your word tells me that your strength is made perfect in weakness, and that truth humbles me and comforts me at the same time. I do not need to pretend before you. I do not need to impress you. I can come as I am, weary, uncertain, human, trusting that your power meets me exactly there. Prepare peace where I feel anxious. My thoughts often move faster than my faith. I worry about outcomes I cannot control and replay scenarios that have not even happened. My heart tightens over responsibilities, expectations, and the fear of making wrong choices. Yet you are the God who speaks peace into storms, the God whose voice calms not only the sea, but the soul. Your word says that you will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are stayed on you. And so I turn my thoughts toward you now, not because the anxiety instantly disappears, but because I trust that peace grows where trust is planted. Prepare courage where fear tries to speak louder. Fear has a way of disguising itself as wisdom, caution, or logic. It whispers reasons to hesitate, reasons to delay, reasons to stay small. It reminds me of past failures and magnifies the possibility of future pain. But courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to trust you even when fear remains. Your word tells me to be strong and courageous, not because I am capable, but because you are with me wherever I go. And that promise gives me the courage to take one more step, to face one more challenge, to keep moving forward even when my hands tremble. Lord, I whisper this prayer not as poetry but as survival. These words are not crafted for beauty, they are breathed out of necessity. There are days when prayer is not eloquent but urgent, not polished but honest, not loud but deeply sincere. And you hear those prayers. You hear the ones spoken through tears, the ones formed in silence, the ones whispered when strength is almost gone. You are near to the brokenhearted and you save those who are crushed in spirit. That truth anchors me when everything else feels uncertain. Without you, I stumble. I know this because I have tried to walk alone. I have tried to rely on my own understanding, my own strength, my own plans. And every time, I eventually reached the limits of what I could carry. My patience wore thin. My hope grew heavy, my joy faded quietly. But with you, Lord, I stand, not because life suddenly becomes easy, but because I am no longer holding everything by myself. You steady my steps. You lift my head. You remind me who I am when the world tries to define me by my struggles. As this day unfolds, I do not ask that it be free from difficulty. I ask that it be filled with your presence. I do not ask that every problem disappear. I ask that you walk with me through each one. Let me recognize you in small moments, in a breath that calms my chest, in a word that brings clarity, in a pause that prevents a reaction I would later regret. Teach me to notice you not only in the miracles, but in the ordinary faithfulness of each hour. Lord, help me to respond rather than react. Help me to listen before speaking. Help me to trust when I do not understand. Help me to rest when my mind insists on running. Help me to remember that my worth is not measured by productivity, success, or approval, but by the simple truth that I am yours. When the noise of the world grows loud, remind me that your voice is gentle and steady, always calling me back to what truly matters. I place my past in your hands, Lord, the mistakes I cannot change, the words I wish I could take back, the choices that still carry consequences. You are a God of redemption, able to bring good even from what was broken. I place my future in your hands as well, the unknown paths, the unanswered questions, the doors not yet opened. You are already there, holding what I cannot yet see. And so I choose to trust you with today, this moment, this breath. Lord, be my help today, not just in the obvious struggles, but in the quiet ones. Help me when I feel discouraged without knowing why. Help me when joy feels distant. Help me when faith feels small. Remind me that even faith the size of a mustard seed is enough when it is placed in you. Remind me that you are patient with my growth, gentle with my doubts, and faithful even when my trust wavers. As I move forward into this day, let my heart remain anchored in you. Let your words shape my thoughts. Let your peace guard my emotions. Let your strength sustain my body. Let your love guide my actions. And when the day feels heavy again, when the storm inside tries to rise once more, draw me back to this simple prayer, whispered again and again with humility and hope. Lord, be my help today. Lord, be my help today. As the hours continue to unfold and the weight of the day begins to reveal itself more clearly, morning confidence often fades by afternoon, and what seemed manageable at first can suddenly feel overwhelming. There are moments when fatigue settles into my bones, not just physical tiredness, but the kind that comes from carrying responsibilities, expectations, and silent worries for too long. In those moments, I need you again, not as a memory from the morning prayer, but as living presence, renewing me right where I am. Help me when my emotions shift without warning, when peace gives way to irritation, when hope is interrupted by disappointment, when patience is tested by delays and misunderstandings. You know how easily my heart can be unsettled, Lord. You see the inner reactions I try to hide and the thoughts I quickly silence, and still you remain gentle with me. Your word says that you are slow to anger and abounding in steadfast love, and I ask you now to shape my heart after yours, so that I may respond with grace instead of frustration, with wisdom instead of impulse. Lord, be my help today when I feel unseen. There are moments when I give my best and it goes unnoticed, when I serve quietly and no one acknowledges the effort, when my faithfulness feels hidden in ordinary routines. Yet your word reminds me that you see in secret and you reward what is done with sincerity of heart. Teach me to find contentment not in recognition, but in knowing that my life is lived before you. Let that be enough. Let your approval quiet my need for validation from the world. Help me when my thoughts return to old fears, the ones I thought I had overcome, the ones that resurface when I least expect them. Fear of failure, fear of loss, fear of not being enough, fear of the future unfolding in ways I cannot control. Your word tells me that you have not given me a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. Anchor my thoughts in that truth. When fear tries to speak louder, remind me that your voice carries greater authority, and your promises stand firmer than my anxieties. Lord, be my help today in my decisions, especially the small ones that shape my path more than I realize. Teach me to pause before reacting, to seek you before choosing, to listen before speaking. There are words that, once spoken, cannot be taken back. There are choices that open doors I did not intend to walk through. Guide me with your wisdom even when the right path feels narrow or uncomfortable. Your word says that you instruct sinners in the way and lead the humble in what is right. I come before you with humility, asking you to guide my steps. Help me, Lord, when my faith feels quiet. Not absent, but quiet. There are seasons when belief does not feel triumphant, when worship feels heavy, when prayers feel simple and repetitive. Yet even in silence, you are working. Even when I do not feel you, you remain near. Your word assures me that you will never leave me nor forsake me. Let that promise sustain me when emotions fluctuate and spiritual enthusiasm wanes. Teach me that faithfulness is not measured by feeling, but by trust that remains even when feelings change. Lord, be my help today in my relationships. Where there is tension, bring understanding. Where there is distance, bring reconciliation. Where there is misunderstanding, bring clarity. Guard my heart from bitterness and my tongue from harshness. Teach me to forgive as you have forgiven me. Not because it is easy, but because it is freeing. Your word tells me that love is patient and kind, not self-seeking, not easily angered. Let your love flow through me, even when it costs me comfort or pride. Help me when I grow tired of waiting for answers, waiting for change, waiting for healing, waiting for clarity. Waiting has a way of stretching the soul, of testing trust in ways action never could. Yet your word says that those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. Teach me to wait without resentment, to hope without despair, to trust without demanding timelines. Remind me that delay does not mean denial, and silence does not mean absence. You are working even when I cannot see it. Lord, be my help today as evening approaches and reflections begin. As I look back on the day, help me to see your hand, even in moments that felt difficult. Help me to recognize the quiet victories, the patience I did not think I had, the strength that appeared at the right moment, the peace that returned after unrest. Guard me from self-condemnation over what I did not do perfectly. Instead, remind me that your grace is sufficient and your mercies are new every morning. Help me to rest, Lord. True rest. Not just the absence of activity, but the presence of peace. Teach me to release the burdens I was never meant to carry into the night. Teach me to trust that the world does not depend on my constant effort, because you are always at work. Your word says that you give rest to those you love. I receive that rest now, laying down my worries, my regrets, and my unfinished tasks at your feet. Lord, be my help today, tomorrow, and always. Not because I am weak only on certain days, but because I need you every day. I need you in joy and in sorrow, in clarity and in confusion, in strength and in weakness. You are not a temporary solution. You are my constant source, my refuge, my help, my hope. I thank you, Lord, for walking with me through this day, for hearing my whispered prayers, for sustaining me when I felt stretched thin, for reminding me that I am never alone. I trust you with what remains unresolved. I trust you with what is yet to come, and with a heart both humble and hopeful, I rest in this truth once more, allowing it to settle deeply within me. You are my help, today and always. Lord, be my help today when my understanding fails and my plans feel fragile. There are moments when clarity escapes me, when the path ahead feels blurred and every option seems uncertain. I wake up wanting direction, but instead I feel hesitation. I want answers, but my mind fills with questions. I want assurance, but all I can see are possibilities that could go wrong. And in these moments I realize how limited my understanding truly is. I see only fragments, while you see the whole. I judge moments, while you hold eternity. There are days, Lord, when I do not know which step to take or which door to trust. I stand between choices, each carrying consequences I cannot fully predict. My heart weighs risks, my mind searches for logic, and my emotions pull me in different directions. Sometimes I am afraid of choosing the wrong thing. Other times, I am afraid of choosing anything at all. I hesitate, not because I do not want to move forward, but because I fear moving without certainty. And yet, certainty has never been promised to me. Trust has. Your word tells me to trust in the Lord with all my heart and lean not on my own understanding. Proverbs 3:5-6 speaks gently but firmly into my confusion, reminding me that my understanding, no matter how careful or intelligent, is still incomplete. You do not ask me to trust you partially or only when things make sense. You ask for my whole heart, not half trust mixed with control, not faith reserved for emergencies only, but full trust, surrendered and sincere. And so I pause here, Lord, acknowledging how often I lean on my own understanding without even realizing it. I plan carefully. I analyze deeply. I try to anticipate every outcome. I convince myself that if I think long enough, prepare enough, and calculate enough, I can avoid pain, mistakes, or disappointment. But this leaning tires my soul. It places weight on my mind that it was never meant to carry. It makes me believe that everything depends on me, when in truth everything rests in you. You promise to direct my paths, not just suggest, not merely observe. You promise to direct. That means guidance, movement, correction, and purpose. It means that even when the road curves unexpectedly, you remain in control. Even when a door closes, it is not the end of the journey. Even when plans fall apart, you are not absent. You are leading. And this promise comforts me deeply because it reminds me that direction does not depend on my perfection, but on your faithfulness. Lord, I surrender my need to control. Control often disguises itself as responsibility, wisdom, or caution, but beneath it lies fear. Fear of loss, fear of failure, fear of being vulnerable, fear of trusting something unseen. I confess that control has often felt safer than surrender, because surrender requires trust, and trust requires letting go. Yet every time I cling too tightly to control, my heart grows restless, my peace fades, and my joy becomes fragile. Teach me to release what I was never meant to hold so tightly. I surrender my urge to rush. I confess that waiting is uncomfortable for me. Silence makes me anxious. Delays make me question. When answers do not come quickly, my mind fills the gap with assumptions. I rush decisions because waiting feels like weakness. But your word shows me that waiting is often where faith is refined. Abraham waited, Joseph waited, David waited, even Jesus waited. Waiting was not wasted time, it was preparation. And so I ask you to quiet my impatience and teach me to wait with trust instead of tension. I surrender my fear of waiting. Waiting exposes my lack of control and confronts my desire for immediate clarity. It forces me to trust your timing instead of my urgency. And your timing, Lord, is wiser than mine. You see what I cannot see. You know what I do not know. You understand how one moment connects to another, how one delay protects me, how one redirection saves me from paths that look good but lead to harm. Teach me to believe that your delays are not denials, but divine alignments. When my plans feel fragile, remind me that your plans are secure. I build with limited knowledge, but you build with eternal wisdom. I plan based on circumstances, but you plan based on purpose. Your word says that many are the plans in a person's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails. And this truth humbles me, because it reminds me that my plans are not ultimate. They are provisional, flexible, subject to your greater will. And that is not something to fear, but something to rest in. Lord, help me when logic alone is not enough. There are situations where logic explains the problem but cannot heal the heart, where reasoning offers options but no peace, where understanding informs but does not comfort. In those moments, I need more than answers. I need you. Your guidance is safer than my own logic because it is rooted not only in knowledge but in love. You do not lead me merely to success but to transformation. You do not guide me only to outcomes but to growth. Teach me to recognize your guidance even when it comes quietly. Not every direction arrives as a clear sign or dramatic moment. Sometimes your guidance is a gentle nudge, a growing unease, a repeated thought, or a door that closes despite my effort. Sometimes it is peace that settles when a choice aligns with your will, even if it scares me. Teach me to listen with discernment, to pray with patience, and to trust even when the path feels narrow. Lord, be my help today when I feel overwhelmed by options, when too many choices leave me paralyzed, when I fear choosing wrong more than I desire choosing right. Remind me that you are able to redirect even imperfect decisions, that your grace covers missteps, that no sincere heart seeking you is ever abandoned. You are a God who redeems paths, restores direction, and brings purpose even from detours. And that truth gives me courage to move forward instead of remaining frozen in fear. Help me to trust you with my future. The future feels heavy because it is unknown. It carries questions about provision, relationships, calling, and stability. I try to imagine outcomes, but imagination often magnifies fear more than hope. Yet, you already dwell in my tomorrow. You are not approaching the future. You are already there, holding it, shaping it, preparing what I will need when I arrive. Teach me to trust you one step at a time, one day at a time, without demanding full visibility of the road ahead. Lord, when my understanding fails, let my faith rise, not a blind faith but a grounded trust rooted in your character. You have proven yourself faithful before. You have guided me through seasons I once thought would break me. You have provided when I did not see how. You have protected me from things I only recognized later. Let memory strengthen my trust. Let testimony silence doubt. Let gratitude remind me that you have never failed me. As I breathe in this moment, I choose surrender again. I choose trust again. I choose to lean not on my own understanding, but on your wisdom. Direct my path today, Lord. Align my steps with your will. Slow me down where rushing would harm me. Move me forward where fear would hold me back. And as I walk, uncertain but trusting, let this prayer remain alive in my heart, steady and sincere. Lord, be my help today. Lord, be my help today as I continue walking forward without seeing the full picture. There is something deeply unsettling about not knowing what comes next, about stepping into uncertainty with nothing but trust to guide me. My heart often longs for confirmation, for signs that remove all doubt, for clarity that leaves no room for fear. Yet you rarely lead that way. You invite me to walk by faith, not by sight, and that invitation challenges everything in me that craves control and certainty. When my understanding fails, Lord, I feel exposed. I realize how much I rely on my ability to reason, predict, and manage outcomes. I like to feel prepared. I like to feel capable. I like to believe that if I understand enough, I can protect myself from disappointment or pain. But life has shown me again and again that understanding is fragile. Plans change, people change, circumstances shift without warning. And in those moments, my confidence in my own logic quickly fades. Your word gently redirects me, reminding me not to lean on my own understanding. That phrase alone humbles me. It tells me that my understanding, while useful, was never meant to carry the full weight of my life. It was never meant to be my foundation. You alone are strong enough to hold what concerns me. You alone see how today connects to tomorrow, how one choice shapes another, how even mistakes can be woven into purpose. And so you invite me to lean on you instead. Lord, trusting you with all my heart feels risky sometimes. My heart has been hurt before. It has trusted and been disappointed. It has hoped and been let down. And because of that, I learned to guard it carefully. I learned to trust selectively. But you ask for all my heart, not because you intend to harm me, but because partial trust keeps me divided. Half trusting you and half relying on myself leaves me anxious, torn between faith and fear. Teach me that wholehearted trust is not weakness, but freedom. Direct my paths, Lord, even when I resist your direction. Sometimes your guidance does not align with my preferences. You lead me away from what feels familiar and into places that require growth. You close doors I was convinced were meant to open. You slow me down when I want to run ahead. And in those moments, my heart wrestles, I question, I struggle. But later, when I look back, I often see your mercy in the redirection. I see protection where I once saw restriction. I see wisdom where I once felt disappointment. Lord, help me to surrender daily, not just once. Surrender is not a single moment of decision. It is a continual posture of the heart. Each day presents new opportunities to reclaim control, to rush ahead, to rely on my own understanding again. And each day, you invite me back to trust, back to surrender, back to rest. Teach me to notice when my grip tightens and gently remind me to loosen it again. Help me when waiting feels unbearable. Waiting stretches my patience and exposes my insecurities. It gives my thoughts too much space to wander, to imagine worst-case scenarios, to doubt your timing. But waiting also teaches me dependence. It slows me down enough to listen. It strips away the illusion that I am in control. And in that quiet space, you often speak most clearly. Teach me to value waiting as a sacred place where trust grows deeper. Lord, be my help today when I feel tempted to compare my journey with others. I see people moving forward while I feel paused. I see doors opening for others while mine remain closed. And comparison quietly steals my peace, making me question your plan for my life. But your word reminds me that you lead each of us differently according to your purpose and timing. My path does not need to resemble another's to be meaningful. Help me trust that you are doing something intentional in my season, even if it looks different than I expected. Help me to rest in your guidance, even when it challenges my expectations. Sometimes I expect you to lead me toward comfort, but instead you lead me toward growth. Sometimes I expect clarity, but you give me faith. Sometimes I expect answers, but you give me yourself, and I am learning slowly that you are enough. That knowing you is more valuable than knowing what comes next. That walking with you matters more than arriving quickly at a destination. Lord, when fear whispers that I will choose wrong, remind me that you are able to correct my steps. When anxiety tells me that one mistake will ruin everything, remind me that your grace is greater than my errors. You are a God who restores, who redirects, who brings good even from broken decisions. That truth gives me courage to move forward without paralysis, trusting that you are with me in every step. Be my help today when I feel tired of trusting without seeing. Faith can feel heavy when results are delayed and prayers seem unanswered. Yet your word assures me that you are always at work, even when I cannot perceive it. You are shaping my character, strengthening my dependence, and aligning my heart with your will. Teach me to trust the process, not because it is easy, but because you are faithful. Lord, align my desires with your wisdom. Sometimes what I want feels urgent, but urgency does not always equal importance. Sometimes what I desire looks good, but it may not be right for me. Purify my motives, refine my desires. Teach me to want what you want, not because I'm forced to, but because I trust that your will leads to life and peace. As I continue through this day, help me to notice your guidance in subtle ways, in a conversation that brings clarity, in a delay that protects me, in a peace that settles when I choose surrender over control. Let me recognize your hand, even when it moves quietly. And when I feel uncertain again, bring me back to this promise, steady and sure. You will direct my paths. Lord, I lay down my fragile plans before you, the ones I built with hope, but now hold with open hands. I release my timelines, my expectations, my assumptions about how things should unfold. I trust that what you are building in my life is stronger, wiser, and more lasting than anything I could construct on my own. And that trust brings peace to my restless heart. Be my help today, Lord, not by giving me all the answers, but by giving me enough faith for the next step. Teach me to walk forward even when the road is unclear, believing that your light will meet me as I move. I do not need to see the whole path. I only need to know that you are with me on it. And so I end this prayer the same way I began it, not with certainty, but with trust, not with control, but with surrender, not with understanding, but with faith. Lord, be my help today as I lean not on my own understanding but on your unfailing wisdom, believing with my whole heart that you will direct my paths now and always. Lord, be my help today when my strength runs low and my faith feels quiet. There are days when I wake up already tired, not just in body, but deep within my soul. Rest did not fully restore me. Sleep did not erase the weight I carry. I move forward because I must, but inside I feel slow, heavy, stretched thin. My prayers feel shorter, my thoughts feel scattered, and my faith, though still present, feels quieter than usual. And in this quietness, I come to you again, not with loud confidence, but with honest need. There are seasons, Lord, when faith does not shout, it whispers. It does not rise with excitement, it survives with endurance. I still believe, but belief feels gentle, almost fragile, like a small flame protected from the wind. I do not feel powerful. I do not feel strong. I feel human. And yet, you never asked me to be limitless. You never asked me to carry what only you can sustain. You asked me to come, to wait, and to trust. When my strength runs low, I become more aware of my limitations. I notice how quickly patience fades, how easily discouragement settles, how heavy simple tasks can feel. I realize how much energy I spend trying to appear fine when inside I am weary. But you see beyond appearances. You see the fatigue that words cannot explain. You see the effort behind every step. And you do not judge me for being tired. You invite me to rest in you. Lord, even when I am tired, you never sleep. This truth steadies my heart. While my eyes grow heavy, yours remain watchful. While my focus fades, your attention never shifts. While my strength weakens, your power remains complete. Scripture reminds me that you neither slumber nor sleep, that you are constantly attentive, constantly present. And knowing this allows me to loosen my grip, to stop striving as if everything depends on me. There are moments when exhaustion makes me feel alone, as if I am carrying the weight of life by myself. But the truth is, you are near even in my weariness. You do not step back when I slow down. You do not withdraw when my energy fades. You draw closer. You carry what I can no longer lift, and this realization brings comfort to my tired soul. Lord, when I feel empty, you remain full of power. When my reserves are depleted, yours are endless. I may reach the limits of my strength, but you never reach the limits of yours. You are not drained by my need. You are not overwhelmed by my weakness. You are not exhausted by my prayers. You are the source, not the recipient, of power. And that truth invites me to stop pretending that I have more to give than I truly do. Your word declares that those who wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. Isaiah 40:31 speaks hope into my weariness. It does not promise instant relief, but it promises renewal. It does not say I will never grow tired, but it assures me that waiting on you leads to strength beyond my own. And so I wait, Lord, not passively, but expectantly, not with resignation, but with trust. Waiting is difficult when strength is low. My instinct is to push harder, to force progress, to keep going even when my soul pleads for rest. But waiting on you requires humility. It asks me to admit that I cannot sustain myself indefinitely. It asks me to slow down enough to receive what only you can give. And though waiting feels uncomfortable, it is often where true renewal begins. Lord, renew my strength in ways I cannot manufacture. Renew my patience when irritation rises easily. Renew my hope when discouragement lingers. Renew my joy when everything feels heavy. Let renewal reach places I did not even realize were tired. Restore my inner life, not just my outward energy. Breathe life into my spirit again. Your word says that those who wait on you shall mount up with wings like eagles. This image speaks deeply to my heart. Eagles do not fight the wind. They rise on it. They do not strain constantly. They soar when the current lifts them. Teach me to rely on your strength instead of resisting my weakness. Teach me to rise not by effort alone, but by trust in your sustaining power. Lord, help me to run and not grow weary in the ways that truly matter. Help me to walk and not faint, even when progress feels slow. There are seasons when my pace must change, when endurance matters more than speed. Teach me not to measure my faith by how fast I move, but by how faithfully I remain connected to you. When my faith feels quiet, remind me that silence does not mean absence. Faith does not need to be loud to be real. Sometimes faith is simply staying when it would be easier to give up. Sometimes faith is trusting when feelings offer no reinforcement. Sometimes faith is whispering your name when words feel heavy. and you honor that faith. You see it, you respond to it. Lord, be my help today when I feel spiritually tired, when worship feels heavy, when prayer feels repetitive, when scripture feels distant. I do not assume you are far. I recognize that I am weary, and instead of pushing myself with guilt, I choose to rest in grace. You are patient with me. You understand seasons. You walk with me through them. Carry me through this day with a peace that does not depend on circumstances, not a fragile peace that collapses when challenges arise, but a steady peace rooted in trust. Let your peace guard my heart when my energy fades. Let it calm my thoughts when fatigue amplifies fear. Let it remind me that even if today feels heavy, I am held. Lord, when my strength is gone, be my strength. When my faith is quiet, be my confidence. When my body is tired, be my rest. When my heart feels worn, be my renewal. I do not ask for a life without weariness. I ask for a life sustained by you. Teach me to depend on you, not only in crisis, but in everyday exhaustion. As this day unfolds, I choose to hold on to your promise. I trust that you will lift me when I feel low. I trust that you will renew me when I feel drained. I trust that you will carry me when I cannot walk on my own. And even now, before strength returns, before energy rises, before clarity comes, I rest in this truth. You are my help, and you are enough. Lord, be my help today as the hours pass and weariness settles in deeper ways. Fatigue does not always arrive loudly. Sometimes it comes quietly, like a slow dimming of light, until I realize how heavy everything feels. My body continues, but my heart lags behind. My responsibilities remain, but my energy thins. In these moments, I am tempted to measure myself by what I can still accomplish, by how much strength I have left to give. Yet you call me to measure myself differently, not by output, but by dependence. When my faith feels quiet, Lord, I sometimes wonder if something is wrong with me. I remember seasons when belief felt vibrant, when prayers flowed easily, when worship rose naturally from joy. Now, faith feels softer, quieter, less expressive. But you remind me that quiet faith is still faith. A seed buried in the soil makes no sound as it grows, yet it carries life within it. Teach me to trust that even when faith feels still, you are at work beneath the surface. You never sleep, Lord. This truth becomes even more precious when my own strength fades. While I rest, you remain alert. While I grow tired of carrying concerns, you continue to sustain the world. You are not overwhelmed by what overwhelms me. You are not distracted by what distracts me. Knowing this allows me to release the pressure I place on myself, to be constantly strong, constantly vigilant, constantly capable. I was never meant to replace you. I was meant to rely on you. Lord, there are moments when exhaustion makes everything feel heavier than it truly is. Problems feel larger, words feel sharper, hope feels distant. In these moments, guard my heart. Keep fatigue from distorting my perspective. Remind me that weariness magnifies fear but diminishes truth. Help me to pause before reacting, to rest before responding, to breathe before assuming the worst. Let your peace steady me when my emotions are easily unsettled. When I feel empty, Lord, remind me that emptiness is not failure. It is invitation. It is space for you to fill. I often fear emptiness, thinking it means I have nothing left to give. But you see emptiness as room for renewal. You see it as a moment to pour in fresh strength, fresh hope, fresh grace. Teach me not to fear the places where I feel depleted, but to bring them honestly before you. Your power does not diminish when I draw near in weakness. It is not rationed, it is not limited. You do not grow tired of lifting me again and again. Your word says that you give power to the faint and increase strength to those who have none. That promise meets me exactly where I am, not where I wish I were. And so I come without pretense, trusting that you delight in strengthening those who wait on you. Waiting, Lord, challenges me deeply. When strength is low, waiting feels vulnerable. It feels unproductive. It feels like falling behind. But waiting on you is not inactivity. It is alignment. It is choosing trust over striving. It is allowing your strength to replace my own. Teach me to wait without guilt, to rest without shame, to pause without fear. Teach me that waiting on you is never wasted time. As I wait, renew me. Renew my mind where negative thoughts have taken root. Renew my heart where discouragement has settled. Renew my body where exhaustion lingers. Let renewal come gently, not as pressure to feel better immediately, but as steady restoration. You are patient with process. You understand seasons, and you are faithful to complete what you begin. Lord, help me to mount up with wings like eagles, not by force but by trust. Eagles rise because they know how to lean into the wind instead of fighting it. Teach me to lean into your spirit instead of resisting my limitations. Teach me to soar, not by effort alone, but by surrender. Let your strength lift me above what weighs me down, not removing every challenge, but changing how I carry them. Help me to run and not grow weary in the ways that truly matter, not running to impress, but running in obedience, not running to prove, but running in faithfulness. And when running is not possible, help me to walk and not faint. Teach me that slow obedience is still obedience, that steady faithfulness honors you just as much as visible victories. Lord, be my help today when my emotions feel fragile. Fatigue lowers my defenses and makes me more sensitive to disappointment, criticism, and misunderstanding. Guard my heart from harsh self-judgment. Guard my tongue from words spoken out of exhaustion rather than wisdom. Teach me to be gentle with myself as you are gentle with me. When my faith feels quiet, remind me that you are not moved by volume, but by sincerity. A whispered prayer reaches you just as surely as a shouted one. A tired heart turned toward you honors you deeply. You do not demand constant intensity. You desire honest connection, and so I come honestly, trusting that you receive me as I am. Lord, help me to notice small signs of renewal. A moment of calm where anxiety once ruled, a breath that comes easier, a thought that shifts from fear to trust. Renewal often arrives quietly, gradually, almost unnoticed. Teach me to recognize it and give thanks, knowing that you are faithful in small restorations as well as great ones. Carry me through this day with a peace that does not depend on circumstances, not a peace that denies difficulty, but a peace that stands firm within it. Let that peace guard my heart when energy fades. Let it anchor me when strength runs low. Let it remind me that I am safe in you, even when everything feels uncertain. Lord, I release the pressure to perform. I release the expectation to be endlessly strong. I release the lie that rest equals weakness. Instead, I receive your truth, that your strength is sufficient, that your grace is enough, that your power is made perfect in my weakness. This truth frees me to rest without fear and to trust without striving. As the day moves toward evening, help me to reflect with grace rather than regret. Help me to see not only what drained me, but what sustained me. Help me to recognize moments where you carried me, when I could not carry myself. And if today felt heavier than expected, remind me that tomorrow brings new mercies, fresh strength, and renewed hope. Lord, be my help today, tomorrow, and always. When my strength runs low and my faith feels quiet, remain my source. When I am tired, remain my rest. When I am empty, remain my fullness. I choose to hold on to your promise, trusting that you will lift me, renew me, and carry me through every season of weariness with a peace that does not depend on circumstances, but on you alone. Thank you, dear brother and sister in Christ, for staying until the end of this prayer. Your time here is not accidental. God knows exactly where you are and what you are carrying. If this message brought peace to your heart, Share it with someone who may be tired, anxious, or silently crying for help, and be a channel of God's love in their life. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and write Amen in the comments as a declaration of faith. And now, stay with us. Click on the next video appearing on your screen and let God continue speaking to your heart.